Hi everybody, this is Yvette Yeomans with the Pampered Chef. While I'm getting ready, I just want to let you know that tonight I'm making one pot chicken parm, and you can find me at Yvette's Pampered Peeps on Facebook. For those of you who are not consultants, feel free to join me. Or you can also find me www.pamperedchef.biz/Yvette. So I am making one pot chicken parm today. I have to tell you, it took me about 15 minutes to get my video set up. So, all right. So here I have what's called our all-purpose pot. This is a 6-quart pot. Hey, Holly. This is a 6-quart pot, or 7-quart, excuse me, and it's perfect for investment cooking. I don't know about you guys, but today was the first day of school here in the Northeast New York for most people. Some started yesterday, some started today, but routines, we're back in routines, right? We've got soccer, we've got football, we've got after school activities. We're back to the routine of work, school. Oh my gosh, what's for dinner? So I'm focusing on one pot meals this fall season, and so it's One Pot Wednesday today, chicken parm. So in this pan, I started to preheat it. It's pretty much preheated now. I'm going to add a couple of chicken breasts that I have cubed. I added some olive oil to it. And hi, Diane. Thanks for coming by. Added some chicken breasts, and I also added some Italian seasoning to it. When you look this recipe up, for those of you who are on Yvette's Pampered Peeps, I posted this recipe this morning, and that's how I got inspired to make it this evening. But there's a couple of different ways you can do this recipe. You can marinate the chicken or cook the chicken in Italian dressing, not the creamy kind, but the traditional kind. Or you can do like I did, put some olive oil on your chicken and add some Italian spice to it. That was my preference. So I've got the pot heated up, it's preheated. I've got about 3 cups of chicken all diced here. And what I want to do is pop this into the pan. I just want to see and hear whether it's, yep, it's going to give me a sizzle, which is the sound I like when I put meat into a preheated pan. That's the sound you want. And I'm actually going to keep the lid off when I cook because I don't want to create a whole lot of liquid. I actually want to caramelize the chicken a little bit, so I'm going to leave the lid off. One of the things that happens when you cook meat with the lid on is all that moisture stays in, and it marinates it, which can be nice, but in this case, I want my chicken a bit caramelized because I want it to stick out from the noodles. And so we'll put this to the side here. We're going to let this cook. And while I'm letting that cook, I just want to give you a couple of ideas. Because this pan is so big, 7 quarts, you can use it for soups, stews, chilies. And like I said, we're back in that routine time where you're thinking to yourself, what the heck is for dinner? So this is a great pot for you to make plandovers, right? You make that pot of chili and you make extra and you pop it in the freezer. And then on those busy nights, you've got chili you can take out for dinner, or if you remember the night before, you can take it out and thaw it and have it ready for the following night. The other thing with this pot is it will take 5 pounds of ground beef. It'll take 5 pounds of chicken chopped up, and you can pre-cook your chicken or your beef, have it in the freezer. Let's talk about beef for a moment. You can pre-cook that beef, and then you can make tacos with it. You can use it for lasagna. You can throw it in some rice and beans with some seasoning, and you can use it for a taco salad. But here's the extra tip, is once you cook that beef and you use the mix and chop or something like that, you can use a wooden spoon, but I'm going to tell you what, the mix and chop just does a much better job. What you want to do is season it. So let's say your family loves Italian food. Put your Italian seasoning in the beef once it's cooked, pop it in the Ziploc bag, and now it's seasoned for an Italian dish. Or let's say you want to do some with Italian, some with a Tex-Mex flair. We just happen to have a Tex-Mex rub, right? But we also have a Southwest rub. So you can season the meats and you'll be good to go. You can do the same thing with chicken. Now, if you've got a nice thick chicken breasts go on sale, right? It's one of those things that people love to buy because it doesn't have the bone, it doesn't have the fat on it, it doesn't have the skin on it, so it's pure dollar value. but it doesn't go on sale very often. But when it does go on sale, get it for yourself, okay? And you can take, if you get the thicker chicken breast, you can take it in here. These have flexible base and top. And you put a thick chicken breast in here. You take at least a 7-inch blade, and you can cut right through the chicken breast. Then you've got 2 fillets. And then if you want, you can cube it up just like I did tonight. And you can pre-cook it. Again, you can season it. You can have it in the freezer to add to something. Or you can have it all cooked for a dish that you want to make that night. All right, so let me give this a little stir. And again, because this pot is so big, you can use it for your soups and your chilies. I love to make a whole pot of ragu because then I can pop it in the freezer and take it out when I want it. The other thing that's handy is that you can get, if you want, the steamer. So when does this come in handy? Well, there's a dish that I make similar to this one, a 1-pot dish. I cook all of the pasta in the sauce, and then I make meatballs, and I steam the meatballs as the pasta is cooking. And the beauty of that is in about 30 minutes you can have spaghetti and meatballs, all homemade, all done. So the steamer also allows you to cook, you know, you can be making your chili on the bottom, and then you can use our 1-cup prep bowls or a glass bowl, pop it in the top with some cornbread, and you can do cornbread and chili at the same time. You can cook chicken on the bottom, and you can steam your beans on the top. You can boil potatoes on the bottom, and then you can steam some chicken and some beans and make the, I think you pronounce it Nikose salad. I'm not positive on that. So I want that lid off. Again, even though it's a steamer, and it will let some of the steam through, I don't want a whole lot. All right, so while that's going, I'm going to start prepping some other stuff. I need a little bit of Parmesan cheese, and this is actually an Asiago. Now, you'll notice that I'm not holding on to the cheese. I do recommend that you do not get your fingers involved with cheese. It makes it mold a whole lot faster. And I'm about to make the garlic bread. You do not want to sign off. I'm promising you. You're not going to want to sign off when you see this. All right, so we got this. Let me give this a little bit of a stir. And I am going to need to just turn my microwave on here. I'm going to melt some butter. And then I just need to grab one thing. Apparently I wasn't as prepared as I thought. So I'm curious if any of you pre-cook chicken or beef or put it in the freezer, or how many of you do investment cooking. Whoops, you heard a little popping here. Investment cooking meaning that you pre-cook any of your foods and you pop it in the freezer so that you have it. You know, there are some people that like to do those freezer meals. You know, you put everything in a baggie, a container, and then you can finish it off, which is handy. You know, you can use a crock pot, you can use our Rock slow cooker. Hey, Barbara. So lots of different options for you there. So what I did is I melted some butter. We're about to make the garlic bread. Really excited about this. It is a comfort food night here, okay? It's raining, it's damp. A little bit later after dinner, I'm gonna suggest that we start a fire because it's just one of those nights. All right, so we've got our chicken. We are good to go with the chicken. So I'm gonna do the next steps here. I'm going to add 24 ounces of marinara to this, and then a jar full of water. So let me just get a jar full of water. Now, for those of you who use jar sauce. If you use jar sauce, you know, you don't need as much water to clean out the jar, but just put a little water in it and shake it, and it'll clean the sides of your jar for you. But what I've done is I've added to the chicken a jar of marinara. And by the way, for those of you who are not consultants, you can feel free to join Yvette's Pampered Peeps. This recipe was posted. And for those of you who are consultants, or if you don't want to join Yvette's Pampered Peeps, just look up one pot chicken parm. Many different options for that recipe. All right, so we're going to turn this up. Yes, you did just see me add a jar of marinara, a jar of water, and a bag of pasta to the pan. You did see that. Just in case you were wondering and you thought, did I just see what she did there? Yes, you did. So we are going to let the pasta cook right in here. One last thing to do. I don't know about you, but if I only have one pot to clean, I am a happy, happy woman. Okay, we've got some butter onto our garlic bread. We're going to take our garlic press. Gonna squeeze in some garlic here. And you know, I will tell you that I would absolutely be honored if you shared this video. Of course, if you're a consultant, you're not gonna share the video. You could if you wanted, but don't recommend it. We're gonna add some fresh garlic. We're going to, you know, the garlic press takes away all of the peel. A little tip for you, buy your garlic nice and fresh, okay? You want it nice and tight. That means it's fresh garlic. If you can squeeze it, that means it's started to dry out. If it has green sprouts, that means it's starting to grow. And if it has green sprouts, it's bitter. Okay, that sprout is bitter. So you can cut the sprout out, but your garlic starts to turn a little bitter. It's really just not the best. You just pop this over here. So we've got some garlic, we have some butter. We are going to add a little bit of Italian seasoning to this. And I'm also going to add a little bit of garlic rub. Why? When I just put 3 cloves in? Well, because the recipe calls for 4 cloves. And 2, I want to layer some flavors. So this garlic rub has some onion in it. It also has some garlic and some other ingredients that I did read earlier, but of course now it just went out of my brain. So we've got our butter, we have our garlic, we're going to add some Parmesan cheese to this. Hello, Sally. Now we're going to take a can of pre-made biscuits. I did tell you that this was comfort food night, did I not? Let's check on this. Oh, that's boiling. Turn that down. Oh, good. It's one of my least favorite things to do is pop open a can. And you know not to leave them in your car, right? Because they will explode with the heat. All right, so these have to be cut into pieces. And what I'm going to do is just use some scissors to do that. This way, if I could use a knife, but then they're more likely to stick together, and I don't want them to stick together. So this recipe that we're using, I am going to take these biscuits and smother them in the butter and cheese mixture that we just made. All right? Then we're gonna put them in our mini fluted pan. Now you can go right ahead and lick your lips right now because it's gonna be delicious. Let's try out the new knife, see how this works. Oh, okay. Well, this is pretty darn sweet. So we wanna break these pieces up. This recipe that I'm doing now is a savory recipe, right? It's the garlic bread. It's got some Parmesan cheese. It's gonna have some butter. But I also did this recipe this past weekend as a cinnamon mini loaves. So my niece just turned 17 and I asked her, you know, what I could bring for her birthday brunch. And I gave her a choice of a couple of things and she chose the monkey bread, the pull-apart bread. And so that's what I made. So we've got our biscuits in here, okay? We're going to add our mixture of garlic and butter and cheese. And then we're gonna mix that all in. I'm gonna need a bigger spatula to do that. All right. So once this is mixed, now if you wanted to do a sweet version of this, you're gonna do butter and cinnamon and sugar. Actually, when I did the sweet version, what I did is I just put some cinnamon and sugar on the pieces and then drizzled some butter on the top and then baked it. So we've got this mixed in enough so there's enough garlic and butter on them. Now I'm going to use this. So cute! I have to tell you, I've been using this a whole lot. This is our mini bundt pan, and I'm just going to take these and put some in each one. And I am always looking to make life easier, and so I will tell you that if you go into the dessert aisle and you look for, the Girl Scouts have out Samoa and Thin Mint muffins. It makes 6 muffins. Fits perfectly in here. Perfectly. And we made the Samoa and it was absolutely delicious. I went back and bought more and bought the Girl Scout ones as well. So because it makes 6 muffins, it makes 12 bundt pans. So it gives you an idea that if you were to use a regular size mix, you're going to wind up making 12. Now this is not just for your sweet things or your carbs. You can use this for meatloaf. You can use it for, you can check out my video on YouTube for chili cornbread. And I do need to get this butter off my hands, so give me just a second. This is when that editing comes in handy, right? And they cut away and go to a commercial. Okay. So we have our bread in here. We're gonna pop this in the oven. It's gonna take about 10 minutes. While that's cooking, this recipe doesn't tell you to stir it. That makes me nervous. So I'm gonna stir my noodles. So we've got some noodles in here. We have our sauce, we have our chicken, and oh my gosh, this looks so good. And it's bubbling away. Now what we need to do is grate some mozzarella to put on the top when it's done. And let me just set a timer, because I will tell you that one of the things that I forget to do is see how long I'm cooking something. And then I get busy. I don't know about the rest of you. You go and you do a bunch of different things and then your nose tells you that you cooked something too long. Yeah, that happens for me. All right, so let's do a little bit more Asiago. I chose to do an Asiago rather than a parm or a Romano. It's a softer cheese, softer Italian cheese. And if you're Italian and you know how to pronounce them all, you're really just not going to want to open your ears. And then we have some fresh mozzarella here. Yeah, I did say fresh, by the way. And this is, you know, a cheese that a lot of people buy already grated. Can I just tell you to stop doing that? Okay, stop. The reason you want to stop is your pre-grated cheese has an additive in it. We eat enough additives as it is, but it's a cellulose that keeps the cheese from clumping together. Do you ever notice in that bag, how does cheese stay apart, right? Because when I've got it here and it's fresh, it's all clumping together because there's an additive in it. That same additive that keeps it from clumping keeps it from melting. So just buy it and grate it. You know, this cheese that I bought today is a beautiful fresh cheese. It will grate nicely on the grater here, and I can put this attachment here so that I don't have to use my hands, which is handy, no pun intended. And let me just tell you a little tip. For those of you who may have joined after I already said this, you want to keep your hands off the cheese. So if you're going to put it back in the refrigerator, because your hands make the cheese mold faster. So if you're doing a cheddar, Parmesan, Swiss, whatever it is, keep your hands off the cheese. So we've got some there. You notice the other thing that this does is it allows you to keep your hands away from the blades. So for those of you who have a tendency to cut yourself, you will appreciate what this will do. We have a big brother and a little sister. It's important to have several different size graters in your kitchen because not all cheeses are the same, not all things are the same. Maybe you need a grated onion for a recipe. You're going to use a smaller grating blade like this to almost juice it. And if you are doing something that needs a larger grate, like carrots, zucchini, or in this case, mozzarella, you're going to use a bigger grate. So you can see the difference in the grates? You want 2 different sizes. All right. We have deer in our backyard and they're actually out there listening to me right now. They're wondering what the heck is being cooked. All right, so there's one more stir here. I'm going to turn this down just a little bit. For those of you who are just coming in, you can go to Yvette's Pampered Peeps, and I've got the recipe for the 1-pot chicken parm posted there, and I will post the recipe for the garlic bread in the fluted pan, the mini fluted pan. So excited by that. And a couple of last things that I want to tell you as this finishes up. One is I want to show you a neat trick. Many of you have our prep bowls. This happens to be the 3-cup. This is one of our largest. And you have the 1-cup prep bowls. I want to show you something I just learned this week. Look at this. This is the lid from the 1-cup prep bowl, and it fits perfectly on the leftover yogurt container. Isn't that cool or what? That was the first thing I wanted to show you. Second thing I wanted to show you is it's comfort food night. We've got pasta going. It is a rice pasta to do somewhat gluten-free. We have the garlic bread in the oven. So we need a salad. So I did make a salad. We don't need a salad, but it's a good idea to kind of balance it out just a little bit. Wanted to show you these because these are super cool. This is the silicone lid. This is the small bowl. They come in 3 different sizes. They happen to match our bowls. And look at this. Okay, silicone. Look at this salad. Is that gorgeous or what? But because it's silicone, it's oven safe. It's microwave safe. It's dishwasher safe. And you don't have to use any kind of plastic or aluminum wraps on your bowls. We have them to go on our rectangular containers and stoneware and metal and glass as well. But this, perfect. Little air vent if you're putting it in the microwave. I'm gonna pop this back in the refrigerator. I have another bowl in there covered with another lid. Wine. You need wine. Well, you may not need wine, but I need wine. You're going live. All right, so we're gonna open a bottle of red. This is an electric wine bottle opener. I have to tell you that I never knew the value of these until I got one in my kitchen. It's amazing. So this sits right in the foil cutter. Foil cutter, how do you know whether you have it on? You drop it on. You drop it on, squeeze, turn your bottle, and what it does is it cuts the foil right off the bottle. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Then you put the wine bottle opener on here, grab hold of the wine bottle, and press down. And what it does is it goes down to retrieve your cork for you. It says, hey, I'll go get it. And when it's done, press the top button and it says, I'll give you the cork back if you'd like it, which I do. And then we go. We're all set. We've got our wine. We've got our salad. In about 4 minutes, we'll have our garlic bread. And probably in about the same amount of time, we'll have our pasta done. And I will show you pictures of the garlic bread because I'm not going to stay on for another 4 minutes, you know, while we wait. But So for those of you who didn't see, we cooked up some chicken, we added some pasta, some marinara sauce and water all in one. We're gonna add some cheese to the top. We have fluted garlic bread in the oven. We have a salad, we have wine. We're all set for dinner. If you're a neighbor of mine, feel free to come on over because there is plenty. There is plenty. Thank you for watching. Feel free to share. I really would appreciate it if you do. That would be great. And again, if you're not a consultant and you want to join Yvette's Pampered Peeps, feel free. I'd love to have you there. That's a Facebook page, or you can go to www.pamperedchef.biz/Yvette, and you can find my website if you want recipes. If you need recipes, that is the place to go. Let me tell you, there are thousands of recipes. Thanks everybody. Have a good night. Hope you enjoy your dinner.